Alexandra Alex Jennings smoothed her skirt as she stepped into the sleek, modern office of Grayson Enterprises, her heart drumming a nervous rhythm. Her new job as a personal assistant to the enigmatic Christian Grayson, the CEO, was a step up from her mundane life, but it came with its own set of challenges. Christian was known for his strict demeanor and exacting standards, a reputation that both intimidated and secretly thrilled her. The first time she laid eyes on Christian, she was struck by his imposing presence. He stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, his tall frame silhouetted against the city skyline. His dark hair was meticulously styled, and his tailored suit spoke of power and precision. When his piercing blue eyes met hers, a shiver ran down her spine. There was an unspoken command in that gaze, an intensity that both scared and captivated her. As the days passed, Alex found herself drawn into Christian's world. She admired his dedication and was fascinated by the glimpses of vulnerability she occasionally saw. He was a man who took what he wanted, and she wondered what it would be like to be the object of such desire. One evening, as she worked late to finish a project, Christian appeared at her desk. "Alex, come with me," he said, his voice a low command that sent a thrill through her. She followed him to his private office where he poured them each a glass of expensive wine. "Your work has been exceptional," he said, his gaze holding hers. "I've been watching you, Alex. You're not like the others." Her heart raced at his words. She had felt his eyes on her, had sensed his interest, but hearing it confirmed was another matter. "Thank you, Mr. Grayson," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's Christian," he corrected, stepping closer. "And I think it's time we stop pretending there isn't something between us." Alex's breath caught. This was the moment she had secretly fantasized about. Yet now that it was happening, she was overwhelmed by the intensity of her feelings. Christian was a force of nature, his presence enveloping her. He reached out, his hand gently tilting her chin up. "I've wanted you since the day you walked into my office. I'm used to taking what I want, Alex. And right now, I want you." His lips met hers in a kiss that was both gentle and demanding, igniting a fire within her. Alex melted into the kiss, her arms winding around his neck. She had never felt anything like the electricity that coursed through her at his touch. Pulling back, Christian looked into her eyes. "I don't do relationships, Alex. I can offer you passion, excitement, and luxury, but not love." Alex's heart sank at his words, but the desire in his eyes was too potent to ignore. She knew getting involved with Christian Grayson was a risk, but it was one she was willing to take. "Then let's not talk about love," she whispered back, her resolve strengthening. "Show me your world, Christian." His smile was predatory, yet there was a warmth in it that gave her hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could be the one to break through his defenses. As they left the office together, Alex knew her life would never be the same. She was stepping into uncharted territory, a world where power and desire reigned supreme. And she couldn't wait to explore it. As Alex stepped into the cool night air, a fleet of luxury cars parked outside Christian Grayson's office building caught her eye. Among them, a sleek black sports car stood out, its lines speaking of speed and elegance. It was exactly the kind of car she imagined Christian would drive, a symbol of his wealth and taste. A memory flashed in her mind, a night out with her friends where they had warned her about men like Christian. "Play hard to get," they had said. "Don't give yourself up too easily." She had laughed it off then, but now, those words echoed in her mind with sudden significance. As they approached the car, Christian's hand on her lower back, Alex felt a twinge of conflict. She was undeniably attracted to him, but she also didn't want to be just another conquest. She wanted more. She wanted to be valued for who she was, not just what she could offer. "I have a confession," she said, halting by the car. Christian turned to her, a questioning look in his eyes. "I don't want to be just another one of your adventures." Christian's expression hardened for a moment before he smiled, a slow, understanding smile. "Alex, I assure you, you're anything but ordinary." He opened the car door for her, and she hesitated before getting in. As they drove, the city lights blurred past them. Alex was torn between the excitement of the moment and her resolve to not fall too easily. Christian's lifestyle was intoxicating: the luxurious car, his confident aura, the promise of an exclusive world. But she remembered her friend's advice and her own desire for something real. When they arrived at Christian's house, Alex was awestruck. The sprawling mansion was a testament to his success, every detail screaming luxury. As he led her inside, she was enveloped in a world of opulence. Dinner was served in a grand dining room with exquisite food and fine wine. Christian was the perfect host, charming and attentive. Yet Alex could not shake off the feeling that this was all a well-rehearsed play. After dinner, they moved to the terrace overlooking the city. The night was beautiful, the stars twinkling like distant promises. "Christian," Alex began, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. "I can't deny that I'm attracted to you, but I don't want to be just another fling. I need something more." Christian's gaze was intense, searching. "I'm not used to being challenged, Alex. Most women are happy to accept what I offer. And that's exactly why I can't be one of them," she said, her voice firm. "I want someone who values me, not just for a night, but for who I am." There was a long silence, the air charged with unspoken emotions. Finally, Christian spoke. "I can't promise you love, Alex, but I can promise to respect your wishes. I want you in my life in whatever way you're comfortable with." It was not the declaration of love she hoped for, but it was a start. Alex saw a glimmer of sincerity in his eyes, a hint that beneath the facade of the dominating CEO, there was a man capable of more. "Then let's take it slow," she said. "Let's get to know each other, beyond the boardroom and the luxury." Christian nodded, a trace of respect in his eyes. "I think I'd like that." As they stood there, the city spread out before them. Alex felt a shift in their dynamic. She was no longer just an employee or a potential conquest. She was a woman who had challenged Christian Grayson and had come out stronger. The ride back to Alex's modest apartment was a quiet one, filled with a tangible tension that neither of them dared to address. Christian's eyes remained focused on the road, his jaw set in a line of contemplation. Alex, on the other hand, was lost in a whirlpool of emotions. She was proud of herself for not succumbing to the magnetic pull of Christian's charm and opulence, yet a part of her wondered if she had made a mistake. As they arrived, Christian turned to her, his expression unreadable. "Good night, Alex," he said, his voice neutral. "Good night, Christian," Alex replied, stepping out of the car. She watched him drive away, a part of her aching with a strange sense of loss. The following weeks at Grayson Enterprises were a test of Alex's resolve. Christian was the epitome of professionalism, treating her with a courteous distance that was both infuriating and confusing. Alex found herself yearning for his attention, the spark in his eyes, the accidental brushes of their hands. But none came. It was as if their night together had never happened. She threw herself into her work, trying to ignore the growing emptiness inside her. She couldn't shake off the feeling that perhaps she had played her cards wrong, that her attempt at playing hard to get had backfired. The more she thought about it, the more she craved his touch, his gaze, his attention. Then, one unexpected evening, her phone rang. It was Christian. "Alex, I need to see you." His voice was urgent, a stark contrast to his recent aloofness. Her heart skipped a beat. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. "It's complicated. Can you meet me at my place?" There was a vulnerability in his voice that she had never heard before. Without a second thought, she agreed. As she made her way to his mansion, the possibilities raced through her mind. Was this a professional emergency or something more personal? She was greeted at the door by Christian himself, who looked unexpectedly disheveled, his usual composure replaced by an anxious energy. "Alex, thank you for coming," he said, leading her to the living room. "What's going on, Christian?" she asked, her eyes searching his. He hesitated, then let out a deep sigh. "These past weeks, I've been trying to keep things professional, to respect your wishes. but I can't ignore this connection between us, this longing. I've missed you, Alex. Her heart fluttered at his admission. She had missed him too, more than she cared to admit. I've missed you too, Christian, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. He stepped closer, his gaze intense. Alex, I can't promise you a fairy tale, but I can promise you honesty, passion, and the respect you deserve. I want to explore this, whatever this is, with you. In that moment, Alex realized that her strategy of playing hard to get had led them to this point of raw honesty. Maybe it wasn't about the games or the power dynamics. Maybe it was about finding a balance between their desires and their fears. She looked up at him, her decision clear. I want that too, Christian. As they embrace it, a new chapter in their relationship began. It was not a story of a powerful CEO and his assistant, but of two people navigating the complexities of attraction, respect, and the possibility of something deeper. In the dimly lit grandeur of Christian Grayson's living room, a silence hung between them, charged with unspoken questions and desires. Christian's eyes held Alex's with an intensity that made her heart race. Alex? He began, his voice a soft rumble in the quiet room. I don't want to hide this anymore. Will you be my girlfriend? The question lingered in the air, a pivotal moment that seemed to pause time itself. Alex's mind raced back to the night with her friends, their warnings echoing in her ears. But as she looked into Christian's eyes, she saw something that made her heart leap. A genuine longing, a vulnerability that she had never seen before. Without a word, she closed the distance between them, her lips meeting his in a kiss that ignited the suppressed passion of the past weeks. The kiss deepened, their breaths mingling, as they rediscovered the fiery connection that had first drawn them together. Christian's arms wrapped around her, pulling her closer, as Alex responded with equal fervor. The heat between them was palpable, a magnetic pull that arrested all doubts and fears. Yes, she breathed between kisses. Yes, I'll be your girlfriend. The living room, with its opulent decor, faded into the background as they lost themselves in each other. Alex, driven by a desire she could no longer contain, climbed onto Christian's lap, her hands tangling in his hair, deepening their kiss. Their movements were fluid, a dance of desire and surrender. Christian's hands roamed over her back, igniting a trail of fire with every touch. Alex felt a thrill of empowerment as she took the lead, guiding their rhythm. The passion between them was a living thing, wild and untamed. The intensity of their connection propelled them from the living room to Christian's bedroom, a sanctuary of luxury and privacy. The room was a reflection of Christian himself, sophisticated, elegant, and utterly captivating. Alex was entranced, her desire amplified by the opulence surrounding them. As they crossed the threshold, their kisses became more urgent, more demanding. Clothes were shed in a trail to the bed, each piece discarded adding to the mounting anticipation. The bed, with its plush linens and pillows, beckoned them, a promise of unbridled passion. Their lovemaking was a symphony of desire, each movement, each touch, a note in a melody that resonated deep within them. It was passionate and seductive, a dance of two souls intertwining in the most intimate of ways. Alex lost herself in the sensations, in the way Christian's body responded to her own. The world outside ceased to exist, leaving only the two of them in a cocoon of passion and connection. The night stretched on, each moment a discovery, each caress a revelation. As dawn crept into the room, painting the walls with the first light of morning, Alex lay in Christian's arms, exhausted yet exhilarated. She had surrendered herself completely, not just to the physical act but to the emotional bond that had grown between them. In that moment, lying in the luxurious haven of Christian's bedroom, Alex knew she had crossed a threshold. She had found something rare and precious with Christian. A connection that was more than just physical. A bond that promised to grow stronger with each passing day. Alex drove home from Christian's mansion, the morning sun casting a golden glow on the day. Her heart was alight with a joy she had never felt before. She had found something special with Christian, something that made her feel alive and cherished. But as she prepared for work the next day, a shadow of doubt crept into her mind. At the office, Christian was the epitome of professionalism, his demeanor giving no indication of the passion they had shared. Alex tried to steal a moment with him, longing for a kiss, a touch, any sign that their night together meant as much to him as it did to her. But Christian remained distant, focused solely on work, even adding more tasks to her already full agenda. Confused and hurt, Alex struggled to concentrate on her work. During her break, she overheard a conversation between some of her colleagues that felt like a punch to the gut. They were discussing Christian's reputation for pursuing new female employees, only to lose interest and eventually dismiss them. "He's done it with every pretty girl that has walked into this office," one of them said. "It's only a matter of time before he gets bored and moves on to the next one." The words echoed in Alex's ears, igniting a storm of emotions. Was their night together just another conquest for Christian? Had she misread the depth of their connection? Tears blurred her vision as she hurried to her car, seeking refuge from prying eyes. In the confined space, she let the tears flow, each one a testament to her crumbling dreams. She felt betrayed, used, and foolish for believing she could be the one to change Christian. Throughout the rest of the week, Alex kept her turmoil to herself, maintaining a facade of normalcy at work. She even took the drastic step of blocking Christian's number on her phone, a symbolic gesture of her resolve to not be another notch on his belt. Christian, on the other hand, seemed unfazed by her distance. He remained focused on his work, showing no sign of concern or awareness of her emotional turmoil. This only served to deepen Alex's sense of rejection and pain. As the week dragged on, Alex felt a growing sense of isolation. She was trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and heartache, questioning her worth and the authenticity of her relationship with Christian. The man she had fallen for seemed like a mirage, leaving her grappling with the harsh reality of their situation. The office became a reminder of her vulnerability, each interaction with Christian, a painful reminder of what she had thought they shared. She felt like a pawn in a game she didn't understand, a game where the rules were set by someone else. In the midst of her despair, Alex realized that she needed to confront Christian, to seek the truth behind his actions and intentions. She could no longer live in the shadow of doubt, tormented by the fear of being discarded like those before her. The office was quiet, the hum of computers and distant city sounds the only company as Alex made her way to Christian's office. Her heart was a tumultuous sea, waves of emotion crashing against her resolve. She needed answers, truths that would either heal or break her. Pushing the door open, she found Christian at his desk, his silhouette etched against the evening skyline. His gaze lifted to meet hers, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. "Is it true?" Her voice was a tremulous whisper, heavy with emotion. "Am I just another conquest to you?" Christian's expression was solemn, a stark contrast to the charismatic CEO she knew. "Alex?" he began, his voice low and fraught with conflict. "I have a reputation I'm not proud of. I've made mistakes with women in the past and I've tried to change." The honesty in his voice was a small comfort, but it did little to quell the storm inside her. "Was that night? Was it all a lie? Are we even dating?" The words were choked, a struggle against the tears threatening to spill. Christian stood up, the distance between them charged with unspoken pain. "I have feelings for you, Alex. Feelings I've never experienced before. But I understand if you can't trust me." Her heart ached at his words, a painful mix of hope and despair. The man before her was not just a CEO or a seducer. He was a person, flawed and trying to find his way. But the hurt was too deep, the wound too fresh. "I can't do this, Christian. I'm resigning." Her voice was firm, belying the turmoil inside. "I'll clear out my desk on Monday before anyone comes in." Christian's face was a mask of regret, a shadow of the man she had been drawn to. "I understand," he said, his voice barely audible. As she turned to leave, She paused, her back to him. "Don't try to call me. I've blocked your number." "I know," came his soft reply. A whisper in the quiet office. Those two words were a final blow, the acknowledgement of her pain and his acceptance of her decision. Tears blurred her vision as she walked out, each step away from him a shard of broken dreams. The weekend passed in a haze of heartache and reflection. Alex replayed their time together, the highs and the lows, the moments of joy and the shadows of doubt. She mourned the loss of what could have been, a relationship built on mutual respect and genuine connection. Christian's confession, while honest, had opened a chasm between them. His past behavior, his struggles with commitment and trust, had cast a long shadow over their relationship. Alex grappled with her feelings, torn between the man she had come to care for and the reality of their situation. As Monday dawned, Alex prepared for her final moments at Grayson Enterprises. She was determined to leave with her dignity intact, to step away from the pain and the uncertainty. Clearing her desk was a symbolic act, a closing of a chapter in her life. As she packed away her belongings, each item a reminder of her time there, she felt a sense of closure. Leaving Christian's office for the last time, Alex knew she was walking away from more than just a job. She was leaving behind a part of herself, a part that had believed in the possibility of love with Christian Grayson. But in her heart, she also carried the lessons learned, the strength she had found in herself, and the knowledge that she deserved more than shadows and doubts. Alex stood frozen, her box of belongings in hand, as the elevator dinged open. One by one, members of the office crew emerged, each donning their professional attire, their smiles bright and early. Confusion clouded Alex's thoughts. It was too early for anyone to be here, yet here they were, filing into their desks as if it were any other day. The sound of another elevator arriving snapped her attention back. The doors slid open, and there stood Christian, his presence commanding as ever, but this time with an uncharacteristic vulnerability. In his hands, he held a bouquet of flowers, stunning in their beauty and simplicity. Alex's heart skipped a beat, her emotions a whirlwind of surprise and disbelief. Christian stepped out, his eyes locked on hers, and in a few strides he stood before her. With a confidence that belied the tremor in his voice, he climbed onto a nearby desk, the bouquet still in hand. "Everyone," Christian's voice rang out, clear and strong. "I have something to say and I want you all to hear it." The office fell into a hushed silence, every eye turned towards him. "Alex," he began, his gaze never leaving hers. "I've spent my life building walls, keeping emotions at bay, believing that love was a distraction. But you've made me realize that love is the very thing that gives life meaning." Alex's breath caught in her throat, her eyes welling with tears at his words. "I was afraid," he continued, "afraid of what feeling something real would mean, but I can't run from it anymore. I love you, Alex. I love you for your strength, your kindness, and your ability to see through my defenses. You've changed me, and I want to spend my life proving that to you, every single day." A murmur of surprise rippled through the office, but it was the smiles on the faces of the older women, those who had watched Christian grow from a boy to a man under his father's tutelage. That spoke volumes. They had witnessed his transformation, and now they were witnessing his heart being laid bare. Applause broke out, a chorus of support and joy as Christian hopped down from the desk and made his way to Alex. She was smiling, a smile that radiated happiness and love, a smile that was mirrored in Christian's eyes. He handed her the flowers, their fragrance sweet and hopeful. "I know I have a lot to make up for, and I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to be the man you deserve, Alex." Tears streamed down Alex's face, tears of joy and relief. She set down her box, the symbol of her intended departure, and took the flowers. "I love you too, Christian," she said, her voice a whisper of awe and affection. In that moment, the office was no longer a place of work. It became a witness to a new beginning, a testament to the power of love and vulnerability. Christian wrapped his arms around Alex, their kiss a seal on their newfound commitment. It was a promise of a future filled with love, respect, and the courage to face whatever challenges lay ahead, together. The office erupted in cheers and claps, the atmosphere electric with joy and hope. Alex and Christian stood in the center of it all, two hearts united, ready to embark on a journey of a lifetime.